Have you ever had that moment when the job that you have been dreaming about for the past 3-4 years suddenly opens up and then it goes to someone else? This is exactly what happened to me last week. Here's the twist. I was sure that when the position was available, I would have been the first one to get offered. So thought everyone else around me. I have joined this team around 3 years ago, and I was still living in Italy. At one point, we decided to move to Germany. One of the reasons was that I could have gotten hired if the position became available. It was not possible if I was still in Italy. And then, finally, the position opens up, and they choose someone outside the team. Now, how would you have reacted? For me, it was shock. And then disappointment. My pride took a massive hit, and I felt like I'm not worth it enough. But then something strange happened. Under all the emotions, the immediate emotions, I felt something unexpected. I felt doubt. This uncomfortable, nagging doubt that I have that maybe, and just maybe, I don't actually want a job after all. And this creates a real problem because on Wednesday I had the call with my manager. I could bring up the position and say, hey, why didn't you pick me? And he would for sure ask, well, do you actually want to be employed? And I ask myself, is this really what you want? Do you want to fight for that? Because if I say something and they do offer it to me, I cannot say no at that point. And the thing is, I'm no longer sure if I really want it anymore. So in this video, I will take you kind of behind the scenes and share what's my thought process. We are going to work through this together, separating what's ego from genuine desire, what's disappointment versus strategy. By the end, I will know what I want. I have to make a decision. There is no option, no plan B. I will have to talk with him on Wednesday. And who knows, maybe you are also a freelancer that is facing a similar issue. So let's figure it out together. And this whole internal crisis started on Friday. My second day in Iceland. I was on a call with my whole team when my manager announced that he had found someone for the position that I didn't even know was available. And I was in shock. Everyone expected that if one came up, it was for me. And I found out like that, in front of everyone else. Honestly, the news ruined the rest of my day. And I found out just like that. I was in this incredible place, but my mind kept going back and kept replying that moment and what he said and how he said it and what he was thinking and all of that. And I really had this feeling of being overlooked. I have the feeling of not being good enough to be hired, not even to be considered for the position. And I realized that my monthly one-on-one was up Wednesday, so like less than a week after that. And that was the moment. If I wanted to say something about it, if I wanted to let him know that I wanted that position too, I had that opportunity. But it was the weekend and the weather in Iceland was simply amazing. We had a lot of luck. It was predicted to be rainy the whole week and we had like beautiful sunny skies. We were able to see amazing things and I did not think about this. I pushed it all aside, as every good person does, and ignored the problem, hoping that it went away alone. But of course, I could not escape the whole thing, right? Monday morning came and with it the weather, the gloomy weather came also. Cloudy and rainy and windy, and it was perfectly expressing my mood. And the beautiful distraction that was the weekend was gone, and the reality that I had to make the decision was there. Once I finally got in the hotel on Tuesday and I had a moment of quiet, I know I had to get all of this out of my head and into some kind of paper or diary or whatever. I had to stop the emotions from running wild and spiraling, and actually figure out what I really wanted. And on one side of the plate, I had this huge factor, which is security, that of course you don't have as a freelancer. And I'm talking about the very, very real, tangible benefits of being unemployed in Europe, in Germany. You would have a fixed salary, paid vacation, time off, minimum 25 days. You would have holidays, you would have sick days and maternity leave and all of that. And a safety net in case of something goes wrong and you're fired. And after almost 20 years of freelancing, this is something you start to value and see, especially considering that I'm not that young. It was incredibly appealing. But then I had to be honest and look at the other side. What's the price for all this security? Of course, there is structure, meaning defined working hours, defined working days. I have to be in Germany. I could not move back to Italy. I would have to ask for time off in advance. I have to ask 2 weeks prior. I cannot just say bye. But that's not all of it. I just finished a course to become a digital business manager, which is a bit like a spin-off of everything I studied and I work for so far. And finding that course was a revelation. I feel that this role is me. It's what I can do best. It's where I bring the most value. And I would truly love to have the chance to build a business around this. Taking this full-time job would also mean saying goodbye to this. And then there's the biggest prize of all, that's not even connected to a career. This job will require us to move definitely to Germany, which also implies that we have to leave everything that we have in Italy, which is also a fertility path that we started here. And the irony of it all is that security is what you want when you want a family, but you have to have a family in the first place. So this decision is not impacting just me, it's impacting my family, included the one I don't have yet. And as I look at everything laid in front of me, that's when it hit me. The safe path, the one with all the benefits and security, felt like the thing I hated the most. And on the other hand, the scary path, the one that everyone would say, don't do that, with all the uncertainty, it actually felt the only thing that was truly deeply mine. And in that moment, I realized that even if it was terrifying me and I was scared to death, I had to do that. I had to go that way. And how do I feel now that it's done? I wish I could tell you that I feel a deep sense of calmness and like I'm doing the right thing. I do not. It would be completely a lie. The truth is that I'm scared to death. I feel a huge amount of responsibility, pressure, stress. I know it's going to be freaking hard. It will impact the people around me. I mean, I'm so scared of how things are going that I have not even watched how the first videos were, and I published them a week ago. I don't know how I can handle the bad stuff. I've been trying so hard in the past years that I've kind of burned out most of my positivity. And of course, underneath, you have this rush of adrenaline and this feeling that, yes, you're going to crush it, everything's gonna be right. This kind of worry, but excited at the same time, a bit craziness. Because in the end of the day, for the first time, well, not for the first time, but in the end of the day, I know that this is the thing that I want the most. Even if it's not the best one, the prettiest one, the most desired one, this is my path. And knowing that this is the right path for me, even if it feels the hardest, it's what gives me the power in the end to face it head on. Because in the end of the day, I do like a good challenge. And it feels so fitting that this huge decision comes exactly 1 month after I started the 6-month challenge. This moment is not really a victory or a final something. It feels more like a true starting point. By making this hard choice, I kind of define what will be my upcoming months, trying to survive this choice. And now I have a mix of terror and excitement, and I'm actually eager to find out what I will be able to achieve in these upcoming months. So the biggest lessons I'm taking away from this insane week is about how we look at rejection. We are trained to see rejection as a failure, as a closed door. But I'm starting to think that sometimes a rejection is just a redirection. It's a way to focus on something else. It's a moment that forces you to stop and ask yourself, was I even in the right direction to begin with? And maybe the most powerful career moves aren't actually the promotion we get, but the opportunity that we decide to let go of, because they don't really align with the person that we are trying to become. And sometimes the no that comes from outside is what gives you that final push and the power to say yes to yourself. And now the real work begins, proving that it was indeed the right choice. The next 5 months of this challenge will be me building up my freelancer life, finding the new income streams, dealing with the fears and everything that comes with it. And if you want to see the real consequences of this decision and follow the rest of my journey, I would love for you to subscribe and join me and share what you are doing and how your life is going. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.